All right. So on this call, where is Oga? Where is Oga? Where is Quincy? Let me tap him on the call. Oga and Quincy are not here. Please just hold on. Let me find out why they are not here. Call continue. All right. Okay. So I guess they will join us. Let us go ahead. Okay. So we have spoken about the grouping. Yeah. The grouping to group we use group by, right? We use group by. So I think we answered a lot of questions on grouping. Yeah. I think those are the questions I even dropped. So those are the questions I asked us to answer while leaving the class. So calculate the total price for each invoice, calculate total duration of tracks in milliseconds. Or these ones are under basic calculations, not even grouping. So let me just show us the queries for each of these questions and explain how how those be the answers to the question. Now it says calculate the total price for each invoice. Yes, this is
Sir,
this will buy.
did you look at the queries we dropped for these questions yesterday?
Yes, I did. I think you should even start from there. Let me just copy the queries and just look at it and see if they are all correct or wrong. So the first one says, okay, calculate the price of each invoice. Select invoice ID, sum total as total price from invoice, group by invoice ID. We saw this together yesterday. We did it together yesterday, and that's actually correct. So this is correct. Then the next question says, or did I copy everything? What is going on here? This did not copy everything. Let me just copy only number two. This question one. Then question two says, sorry guys, I'm trying to check something. So question why is this not, it's like this is not copying everything down. It's not pasting everything I got. Let me try again. When I copy, it doesn't paste everything. Okay, let's paste it now. So number two says calculate total duration of tracks in milliseconds. So select some milliseconds as total duration of tracks. Total duration of tracks in milliseconds. Okay. So the total duration of the tracks in milliseconds, this is correct. Then number three says convert We copy number 2 query. Number 3 says compare. Why is this not pasting not the result? What is that? Very annoying. Convert milliseconds to seconds, rounding the results. Okay, let's run this query first. Okay, so we said select track ID, name, milliseconds, round milliseconds divided by 1000, comma 2 as duration in seconds. Okay, so I hope you guys not just copy the formula, copy the queries from the sheets. I know the queries are on the sheet, but you should try to always do your own work. So the milliseconds, the milliseconds, to convert it to seconds, we divide by 1000 by rounding to decimal places. All right, so that's correct. Then the next question is calculate the average invoice total. That is also very straightforward. The average invoice, I know this will happen. I guess it's the way the text was copied. That is why I'm not able to copy everything. So the average invoice total is just go ahead and do a round average of the total. The function for average is called AVG of the total, rounded it to 2 decimal places, and returned it as the average invoice total. Then the last question, last but not the least, says calculate the distance in
The
invoice.
difference.
So calculate the difference. Calculate the difference in invoice total and average invoice total. Calculate the difference in invoice total and average invoice total. So we did select invoice ID, the total minus the. So how did we come about this? I hope you did not copy the formula from the.
We didn't copy the formula. We actually tried the different method. We played around it, and then before coming to this conclusion.
So who brought about the idea of doing this?
It was our team that brought the idea.
Okay, so calculate the difference in the invoice total and average invoice total. Calculate the difference in the invoice total and the average invoice total. So this is the invoice total. This is the average invoice total. When you run this particular query, it gives you the average invoice total. Select, let me run it again. Select the average of the total value from the invoices. You get that value, right? Calculate the invoice total, the difference in invoice total and average invoice total. Okay, so you know this one is a figure. This thing here is one number. And what is the number? This is number here, right? So that is why this query works. You are subtracting each total from the average of the entire total, and that's how we got this. So 5 point something, one minus 5 point something is what gives us this value with those answers. I hope you understand. This selects this particular query returns one answer, and that answer is what you see right here. This answer. When you round it to two decimal places. When you round this to two decimal places, you see that you get 5.65. So even if I take this value out here and put 5.65, the answer we get to still remain the same as these answers that we're getting. So I hope you understand this particular what's it called? That query. So the reason why it's good to why it's better to do it this way by writing the query select average from the invoices other than putting this figure, because if your database changes, if it changes, let's say more data is being entered, this figure will remain constant, and that will not be the actual average because the average has changed. But with this query now, whatever average it is, it will remain updated. It will keep updating based on the new data that enters. I hope you guys understand what I just explained, right? Okay. Sorry, like I'm saying that an angel, is a lie. Oh. Imagine is a lie. Oh. You see the celebration that we gave to Teresa yesterday. This one, success joined our class today. This one, she deserve. Let us throw a party. We need to cook party jollof rice. Or is it that, or am I seeing something wrong? Or is it a mistake? Success. Ah, hey, Jehovah Shekinah glory. Hi, success. Are you the one? Are you sure you did not mistakenly join this class? Can you say something? Or maybe she sent her AI to join. Be that she's not the one that is here today. She's not the one. If she's the one, she would have said something. She's not the one. It's most likely her AI. Let us welcome Success's AI. Hi, Success AI. Welcome to class today. Let's hope that when she comes and take over from her AI, we hear her voice. All right. So that's that about that. Today's class, we want to focus on the materials that were released for the week. We've not spoken about the material. We're still going over this last week's material. And so far, so good. We started with what is SQL. We went into database management systems, relational database management systems. We spoke about how to install my SQL Workbench, SQLite, and then we looked at how to create a database. And um, there's an assignment that followed that lesson, and I want to assume that by now those people who us the assignment should have submitted it. Yes, I can see everybody had turned in the assignment for that um, section of the lesson, but Quinsley is still owing me assignments. Quinsley and Teresa, they are still owing me the assignment of that 10 questions they were supposed to answer. So
Sorry, sir.
our
Please, can I say something?
yes, Quinsley, go ahead.
Yeah, for that 10 questions, maybe I didn't see it because I've been looking for it since. Like, I was trying to look at the module where I can find the assignment, but I didn't see it. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my eyes.
Ah, this is strange. Or are you on a different classroom for you not to see it? I'm sharing my screen now. Confirm you can see my screen, Quinsley. So this see we have assignment 1, database creation. Assignment 2, this is the assignment here. Assignment 2 is just there, staring at you. How come you do not see it? And look at the instruction. For these assignments, your main focus will be on writing SQL queries to read and filter data from Junior SQLite database. The queries you'll be asked or tasked with writing primarily revolve around extracting valuable insights and viewing specific subsets of the dataset store data. Instructions. Download the SQL2 assignment zip folder attached below. Download this guide. That is the first thing to do. Open the project in SQLite and answer all 10 questions therein. Watch the video attached below for complete steps and guidance on how to answer the questions in SQLite. Watch this 7 minutes video, you know how to answer the questions. So how is it hidden? Why can't you see it?
I want to check it now, sir.
Please do. And I need this assignment returned in before the end of today, please. If not, now you will fight. All right, having said that, let's move on. So today's class will be focusing on this part of the lesson. For the relational database management system, there are a whole lot of videos here, 8 minutes, 15 minutes, 19 minutes, and the PDF that has done justice to this. When you watch these 3 videos and you look at these documents, you would have understood everything about creating a relational database management system. So I will not waste my time on this call talking about it again, since we have almost 20 or 30 something minutes video, almost 30 minutes video that should guide you into doing this. So let's just save our time. Let me not waste your time, rather don't move my time, your time. Let's save your time and start with the second module that talks about working with text data. Working with text data. So for this class, I would download this SQL project. There's a difference between a project and a database. So the files that are attached here, like even the assignment for week 2, that assignment 2 that I just showed quickly, this file is a project. It's an SQL project. So a project is a file that you have written some queries on and you save, and then you want to open and then continue writing more queries on it. Let me start by first sharing my entire screen so that I can see the entire process of downloading and uploading that project. Now I'm back to the classroom. I want to download the project here. Click on this link, and this is what I encourage everybody to do when you're studying the material. When you click on the link, it will show you a lot of codes that looks confusing. Don't worry about these codes, because it is rendering the text or the file as HTML file. So once you open it this way, the next step is for you to download it. Let me see the button. So you see this button. Currently, there is no download option. Click on these 3 dots here, open a new tab. Once it opens up in a new tab, you'll find the option to download. So here's the option. Click on download, and then the file will be downloaded. You can see it has downloaded the file. So currently I can find the download on my downloads folder. When I come to my downloads folder, you find the file extension is SQBPRO. SQBPRO. This is SQLite for the SQLite for DB browser project. The PRO here stands for project. So you don't double click and open it the way you open normal Word, PDF files, and images. So you don't do that for a SQL file. What you're expected to do is to go to your DB browser. So here is our DB browser. I don't want to overwrite this one that you're working on. I will open a new DB browser, which I can find on my desktop. Here, double click to open it. When you open the new DB browser, so you can see it's blank now, everything is new. Click on open projects. This time around, I'm not selecting open database. I will select open project because it's a project that I want to work on. When you click on open project, it gives you this open a project file dialog box. Go to the location where your project is downloaded. Please organize your files, put it in a folder. But for me, I just want to work on there for now. Click on data types in SQL and click open. So every other project I'm working on, this is how I'm going to do it. Now, once it does that, you can see it has opened another file. It says choose a database file. So it's trying to open the project, but it wants you to connect a database file you intend to use to complete the project you just connected. So I want to open Chinook database. And once I do that, the project is opened. If you go to your database structure, you find the tables and the indices that make up that data set or database. So here is the project with the text and the comments that I want us to talk about. Please, do you understand the process I just explained? I'll go back to sharing my window only. All right, so that's about opening a project. So in case you want to work on any project or an assignment that is attached, and you know how to open your project and get started. All right, so in today's class, we'll be looking at assessing the data types of a table. Whenever you want to work on a database, you can always assess the data types of the tables by using the word pragma. There's a keyword called pragma. Table info, that is table underscore info with the name of the table in a bracket. When I run this query, you see what it's going to return. It has returned the CID. The CID represents just an ID allocated to each column in the table. The name of the columns that are found on the table. What table? That is the employees table. So we have the employee ID column, the last name column, the first name column, title column, the reports to, birth date, hire date, address, and so on and so forth. Then we have the third output or the third column in the output, which shows the different data types for each of the columns on the employees table. Am I communicating? The employee ID has the data type integer. The last name ID column has data type n varchar 20. N varchar means number of variable character. Varchar means variable character. So the n means that you want to give it a fixed number of variable character that can be in that column, not necessarily fixed, but you want to give a supremum in mathematics. That's what we call it. Supremum means the upper limits of the number of allowed character. So you can put 0 number of character, but the maximum that you can take is 20. So which means that you are estimating that the highest number of character that anybody's first name should have is 20 characters. So the characters are made up of the letters and the white spaces. For instance, if I want to write Jesse Obiageli's name, Obiageli, if you count the number of texts or letters she has in her name, Obiageli 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Obiageli has 8 characters. Then the space in between her name and Ogojafo. The space is also a character. Am I communicating? The space is the 9th character. Then Ogojafo is, you count each of the letter there. So that is what it means. That so whenever you want to estimate the maximum number of allowed character. So that means if anybody's last name rather has more than 20 characters, they cannot enter it into this database. So you have to think about the most reasonable number of maximum letter of characters. So that is what M varchar represents. We also have another data type that's called varchar, just varchar, without adding the N. But such example is not here. Hopefully, you might see some in other tables. So all of this is M batch at 20. For type 2, they made it M batch at 30. And we have date time data type. We have M batch at 70. So on this column, the employees table column, the employees table, you notice that we have more of text, more of columns that contain text than numbers. But numbers are just few. Numbers are the integer, which is the ID, integer reports to, and that's all. Just two columns contain numbers, just two columns contain date and time, but others are text related column. Then we now have not null. The next thing is not null. Not null means that the columns, if you have one, if not null is one for any column, it means that that column is not allowed to contain null values. So every table that would have a primary key or an ID column, such column is not allowed to be empty. That's why I have one here, not null, true. One means true, not null. That is, yes, no null values should be seen in that column. And in fact, this particular column, employee ID, is assigned the primary key, PK. So you might be wondering, what is primary key? I would like to hear from some of you, from the videos you've learned, the lessons you have studied, your research. I would like to hear someone explain what primary key is all about. But before that, let me go further. So you can see it's 0 for every other columns, which means that you can only have one primary key on the table. Just like in a same community, you should only have only one king. I know why I'm saying same, because there are a lot of things happening these days. The community will be divided and they will have two kings. That community. That is not a same community. They are insane, that community. So just so the primary key here is serving as is serving as a king or the president of a country. Also in the same community country, there should be only one president. Just one president. There cannot be two presidents in a country. Yeah. Yeah, so with what I've said, I hope you understand. So whenever you want to understand the different columns that are present in the table, their data types, which of them is assigned the primary key and all of those, what do? Just type pragma table underscore info employees. If I want to look at the information about, let's say, the artist table, I would say pragma table underscore info. So just say pragma, give me the information of the table called artist. Then run the query, you see the output. Now on the artist table, there are just two columns, artist ID and name. The artist ID is an integer, the name column is n voucher 120, and then not null for the artist ID, which means it is the primary key. Do you see that? Yes. So I hope you understand what the pragma function or pragma keyword does. Okay, before we move on, let me ask my question. Obiageli, are you settled now? Oh, Success said yes, she's the one. Amazing. It could be it's the AI that typed this thing until we hear her voice before we believe that she's the one. So till now, I don't believe she's the one. Maybe it's an AI. AI can type these days. AI can even talk, but if she talks, we will know her actual voice. Let's just wait for her to talk. But before she speaks, let's hear from Obiageli. Obiageli, what do you understand by primary key?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Clearly.
Okay, good evening, everyone. From my understanding of a primary key can be said to be like a column that uniquely identifies each row in a table. So it helps to like keep data organized. So let's say we have like we dealt with hotel data sets in Power BI. So we can say each guest have their own ID. So the guest ID can be said to be like a primary key for like the entire hotel data set.
So let's give Obiageli a round of applause. That answer made just right on point. Chimere, can I hear your own explanation of what you understand about primary key on the table? Mary, your mic is muted. I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. In my own understanding, I can say that a primary key is an attribute that uniquely identify a row in a table, in a given table.
Okay. Well done to you for answering that question. I want you guys to bear in mind that as I answer the questions, I would ask practical questions to allow you to identify the column that qualifies the primary key of table. So ensure you understand what you're saying and that maybe you're not just reading from anywhere. Before I move on, let me hear from Akin. Akin, what do you understand by primary key on the table?
Hello, sir.
Did I hear somebody's voice?
Yes,
Hey, and success, so Jesus.
Mr. Nandi.
Hey, Jesus. Where have you been?
Ah, I've been away.
Ah,
Exams, work. In fact, it was even Chemere that got my attention this evening.
he checked up on you. Eh? Success.
Yeah?
The chairman checked up on you.
Yes.
Ah, no, we have to go
Forgot
and see
about
class.
me now.
Class, we have to go and meet Chemere. Let us go and
Yes,
ask
to
which Baba did
appreciate
he meet.
Chemere.
Which Baba did he meet that gave him the jazz that worked. Hey, Chemere, give us the soap that you use oh, for sure, for success. Hey,
Yeah. Hmm.
like I was like, is this for real? Okay, we're happy
Yeah,
to have you back.
it's been a long time.
Very long time. By now, I know you are very confused. What was saying now is like jargons to your ear. True of us. Sound like these guys are speaking they are speaking some German language.
Okay.
Right? No wahala. So yeah, for those of you that have answered my question on primary key, so we're happy to see you back. Welcome back. We
Thank
hope
you.
you will not run away again.
Oh,
And you have missed out from a lot of things actually. Actually missed out a lot. So
yes. I was even telling him I'm lost. I don't even know where to start from. Just
of
I should come
course,
to school.
of course. I wish it started at the beginning of SQL at least to be able to even catch up some things, but the distance, the level we've gone every
Maybe
day
I'll
is
travel. I will come to Abuja.
let's have it. No wahala. Just tell us when you're ready. We'll book flight for you as our special candidate. You understand?
Eh, it's
All
well.
right, guys. So let's fire on. Yes, Obegali and Chimiri answered rightly. Is it because I asked this guy a question? He jumped off. He left the board. What's his name? Akin. Did I call Akin's name? Okay. Maybe it's his network. So for primary keys, right? Like I said, the analogy I gave, you see a primary key as although not necessarily like a king or the president, but like what Obegidi said, primary key, any column that is seen as the primary key or that is assigned the primary key, it means that that column qualifies to uniquely identify each entry on that table. When we say uniquely identify, it means that if any entry on that table has a key, that key can never be for another entry. Example, if I have an ID, say a student ID, right? My ID can never be the same as Jesus Dunsin's ID. Jason Dixon's ID can never be the same as Success's ID, and that's applicable to every other person. So every single staff or student must have a unique ID. So one of the very uh, popular example of a column that is qualified to be assigned a primary key is the ID column. And if you look at our database, you'll notice that when I say our database, I'm referring to this Chinook database. You notice that all the IDs are, I mean, all the columns with primary key are those that are the IDs that contain the IDs, right? Good. So I hope you understand what I mean by primary key now. Now we also have foreign keys. The foreign key is that same primary key on the table that is representing the table on another table. I'll say it again. A foreign key is a primary key on a table. Let's say table A. On table A, it is a primary key. But when it gets to table B, it is just there. It is added to table B for relationship sake, so that you can connect table A and B. Like the ERD we saw the other day, we're looking at the Chinook database ERD. All those connections and relationships, they happen because you have foreign keys on those tables. And you also saw that in your Power BI class where you were connecting, creating relationships. You know, you had to bring in foreign keys for those relationships to work. Yeah, so I think I have dwelt more on this. So if you want to look at the information of any table, what do you do? Pragma table info employees, or just call the name of the table. That's how to check for any information. Next, let's look at working with this. Okay, yeah. Let's start with working with numeric data. So with the knowledge on numeric data, we shall look at this Chinook database. And one of the tables that has a lot of information about numeric information is the tracks table. I've just written the Pragma table info tracks to display the different columns and their attributes. So there are 8 columns or 9 columns on the tracks table, and you can see the apart from the M voucher that appeared 3 times, the other columns are in fact just 2 times rather 2 times. The other columns are integers, integer, 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 integer. Then we have numeric 10 to. Numeric 10 to means that it's a decimal, it's a column that contains decimal number with 2 decimal places. That's how to identify or indicate a float number, a floating data, or a numeric data, or a decimal data actually. And what is the primary key? The primary key is track ID. Now, so let's take a closer look. I would like to write a query that shows all the columns that has or that have what numeric figures. What does the limit 10 do? The limit 10 will show just the first 10 outputs. That's what limit does. By writing a query and you use the keyword limit, it gives you just the top n. So if I say limit 2 will just give me the first two rows. You can see just the first 2 rows in your output. So whenever you are told to write a query and return only 1 row, even if your query has the ability of returning hundreds and thousands of rows, if you are to return only 1 row, use the keyword limit. Am I communicating? Use the keyword limit. And this limit keyword will help you to save you when you start working as a data analyst. Like I said, one of the classes, companies do not use databases that are saved in your local computer. They use databases that are saved in the cloud, like Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, AWS, and so on and so forth. And all these cloud-based solutions, for you to save your data and query your data, you need to pay, especially when querying data. So, and the amount they charge per query depends on the volume of query that's, I mean, the volume of data that is returned when a query is written. So imagine that you are writing a query to return just the first 10 outputs, but of those 10 outputs, there are millions of records that come with it. So why return all the millions of records when you can use your limits to return the top 10? Please take notes. This will save you a lot. Don't go and write queries that return so much output when you don't need them. Am I communicating? Don't write a query that returns so much output when you don't need them. Just use your limits to reduce the number of outputs based on your need. Good. So what I've just done now, I have written a query that returns the first 10 outputs, selecting the track ID, the album ID, the media type ID, the general ID, milliseconds, and bytes. You can see all other columns are IDs, IDs, IDs. And the reason why all these IDs are on the tracks table is because they are there serving as the primary keys. The only serving as the foreign keys rather. The only primary key on the track table is tracks ID. That's the primary key. Then the album ID is the foreign key that connects the album table to the tracks table. The media type ID is the foreign key that connects the media type table with the what? Tracks table, and so on and so forth. All right. Well, but what's the focus? The focus is not talking about the IDs, but the focus is we want to perform some arithmetic on the numeric columns, and the numeric columns can actually work on milliseconds and bytes because others are IDs. The only thing we can do with these IDs is just to do a count, but every other summary statistics can be performed on milliseconds and bytes. So next, so as we expected, all the columns contain integer. However, most of them are what columns of IDs, like I have said. So what we want to do now, just work with the bytes and the milliseconds, like I said. So we want to, the first thing we did here was calculate those summary statistics, what we have seen, the maximum, the minimum. But let's write the query afresh. So I want to just run some summary statistics. I want from the milliseconds and the bytes. I want to know what is the maximum milliseconds and what is the maximum bytes. Let's start by writing that. You can say select all. No, not select all. Select the milliseconds, the maximum of the milliseconds, max, use max for max, that is max function, comma, the max for the bytes, bytes for bytes, max from the tracks table. So when we do this and run the query, notice that we have two figures. This is the maximum milliseconds, yeah, 5,286,953 milliseconds. While the maximum byte is this figure here. This is almost 1,059,546,140. That is the maximum byte in our data set. By just writing max milliseconds, comma, max byte, you get this. Okay. Now, if I want to use what is okay, we've already seen how to use alias, right? If I want this thing to show us maximum milliseconds instead of max milliseconds, showing the function, what do we do? Just say as what? Max milliseconds, right? Right, so we can do this, and when we run the query, now it's showing us max milliseconds instead of what? Max in brackets milliseconds. Now, what if I take out this alias? Do you think it will still work? Let's try it. And yes, it works just fine. Did you see that? So even if you don't put as, it will still work just fine. If I put the same thing here, just put a space and say maximum max bytes, it will still work just fine without putting as. It works just fine. Can you see the output? It gave us the output just fine. So the only reason why it is advisable to use the as is so that your query is neat and readable. Because if you don't put as, there will be a time, this query is just short. It looks very short and simple, right? It's because you have not started writing real queries. When you see real queries, it's usually very long and it looks very complicated. So if you see such query that is long and complicated, and then it's not very readable, people don't put as and all, even though you're the one that wrote the query yourself, if you leave it and take some time, come back to it, it will become very confusing in your face. You yourself will be asking, sorry, let me write this query. What does this query, what is this query doing? You'll be very confused. You don't know what the query is doing because of how it is, right? So it's very important that you use your use aliases. Let me just show you guys a quick glimpse of what I mean. A just short glimpse of one query. This query is not even so long. Say, confirm you can see my screen. Good. So this is a typical example of a query that I wrote in my organization that extracts some information. Can you see how the query looks like? This is one single query from here. Select from here down to this place. It's one query. So this is an example of what I'm talking about. So this one you're learning now. I'm still learning them bit by bit. By the time you start the main work, right, your query will look so large. Before you get to that point of making query look large, you must make it readable. You see the way that query I showed you, how it's very neat. Everything is on new line, new clause on new line. And when I look at my query anytime, I can understand what I did, all right, because I have written it in a more readable format. That's why we encourage you to use your AS, especially on the select line, especially on the select line, right? Now, again, remember that we spoke about, let me do something again. Select, let's say on the tracks table, let me first select all from tracks first. I'll come back to what I was talking about earlier. Let's just select all from tracks. Now we have name, album, and the likes. So what if I want to select just the name of the track, comma, I want to select the track ID, comma, I want to select, let's say, the composer, right? Just those three columns, and then we run the query. We have the output. Okay, that's it. We have the output. So I can also use, so just as we can give an alias to our column, the column name, we can also give an alias to our table name. I can give an alias to our table name, but in the case of the table, you don't have to put the as. Just say tracks T or tracks TR. Immediately you put TR after tracks, or you put any letter after the name of the table, you have automatically changed the name of the table as seen by SQL. So, or as seen by the database management system. Now, the database management system do not see tracks again. It doesn't know tracks. For this simple thing I just added, TR, it does not know tracks again. Let me show you what I mean. If I try to run this query, oh, interesting. This is interesting. I don't expect this to work. I think it will still work. It will still work, right? It will still work. Well, let me do something. Watch this. So this still working, right? It's working now, right? What if I say tracks dot track ID? You guys remember what we did about by referencing the columns? Do you remember the class we had this here? You can reference a column by calling the name of the table dot the column name, right? I want to do it here now. Tracks dot track ID, tracks dot name, and tracks dot composers. I run the query and it's still working fine. So if I should change this, if I just put TR here, I don't expect this to work. Do you see it now? Now it's no longer working. This was what I wanted to show you guys. That once I put a name or a letter, anything here, look at what it's saying. SQL says execution finished with errors. The result, no such column tracks dot track ID. And that thing just worked now, and now it's telling me no such column. If I remove my TR and run my query again, it is working perfectly without any error. But once I put TR or I put anything, even if I put my name Austin and I run it again, to give error. It's saying no such column because so why it's showing this error is because by putting any letter or whatever it is after this table name, it will that means you have changed the name of the table. That is how to give an alias for tables. Just put a space and put T or TR or put anything at all. So whatever you put, whatever letter you put here, make sure it is the same thing that you have on your select line. Instead of having tracks, just have tr dot track ID tr. You see now it's working without any error. Am I communicating? It is working perfectly now without any error. Guys, does that make sense? So why is this important? Again, I'll be showing you some practical examples as I teach. Why is it important? Look at this. So this platform that I'm showing you guys here, this is called BigQuery, right? This is BigQuery. So it is important because sometimes your table name can be this long. This is the name of a table. Liver, product, blah, blah, blah. This is the name of, can you see how long it is? So I use the what? Alias QQ for this, QQ. For the second table, I use another alias called Q. So that in my query, you can see where I'm using it here. QQ.questions. Can you see there? QQ.questions. So instead of saying this long name dot questions, the query will look so long. So I just use QQ.questions, QQ, and then I use Q.id here to join my tables. So that is a practical place where this can be applied using aliases for your table name. So if I don't show you this this practical example now, you might be wondering that okay, tracks is not long now. Why am I using TR for tracks? Because tracks is short, right? The name is short. But in a practical way where your table names are not just names like that, it comes as a long, name. That is where using a what an alias will make sense. Please, am I communicating? Perfect. So I explained this to show us the query I have written already that's downloaded from the class. Look at it. I said select empty dot name. That is because I am joining two tables, tracks and media types. Well, so don't try to understand this now, or should I make you understand it? Okay. Um. Okay. I'll help you to understand it. No, Allah. I'll help you to understand it. So I know it's not time to talk about join yet. Maybe I should not use join to write this query. I'll use another method to write the query, but we'll have the same result. So, but look at this. But understand this line. I think I should just first of all write all of these. The maximum. Let's repeat the query for the top. Let's get the maximum bytes. Let me do this. Hold on, let me just do this. So let's say we have the maximum bytes. Let me take this out. Maximum bytes. All of these. Aha, good. When I run this query, what do am I calling any column? Okay, name. Okay, the name should not be there. Let me take out the name first. So when I run this query, right? Now you can see what we have. Now we have the maximum bytes as bytes max. We have the minimum bytes as bytes mean. We have the average bytes as bytes mean. We have the maximum milliseconds as milliseconds underscore max. The minimum milliseconds as milliseconds underscore max, and the what? Average milliseconds. So all of these that we've seen here, these are the maximum and the rest of them. But We want to see this. Wait, let me see something because this answer. This is what I'm supposed to say. I'm supposed to say only one result. Only one result. So on the table, the maximum byte is this value. The minimum byte is this value. The average byte is this value. The maximum milliseconds is this value. The minimum seconds is this value. And the average milliseconds is this value on the table. But the other query I ran earlier did not show. Yeah, someone's hand is up. Go ahead with the question.
So is average and mean the same thing?
Yes, mean and average are absolutely the same thing. So I don't want to say mean because we have mean for minimum. So I don't want to say the minimum milliseconds is this and I don't want to say the mean milliseconds is this and the mean, they sound alike. That's the reason why I'm using average for the second mean. So, but average and mean, they are exactly the same thing. Do you understand? So, now instead of showing just the maximum, minimum, and the rest, I want to see, if you check the media types table, let's look at the media types table. Select all from a table called media types. This is what the media types table looks like. These are the 5 media types. MPEG audio file is a media type. Protected AAC audio file is another media type. Protected MPEG, that is MP4, like this is MP4, like MPEG for video file. MP4 is video file, it's video. That is another media type. They have the purchased AAC file and AAC audio file. These are the 5 different types of media types you have on the table. So if your manager or the client is interested in seeing for each of these media types, can you tell me what the maximum, minimum, average of the bytes and the milliseconds look like for each of the media types? They want to know which media type has the highest byte. So the byte is the size of the file. So which media type do you guys think? I think it's going to be the audio, right? I mean the video. Video is usually heavier than audio. Is that correct? Is that correct, guys? Good. So if I write this query, if I write the query now, let's just do this. Copy and paste. And I delete every other thing here. I delete every other thing here. And I run this query alone. I run this query alone. This had given us the maximum of the bytes. This is the maximum of the byte. So this maximum byte, if you look at what audio type has that maximum byte, I feel it should be video. That is my own assumption. I just assume to be video. But for us to know the actual results, how do we tell? Now, when you look at the tracks table, let's look at tracks. Let's look at the tracks table. Select all from tracks. Now, looking at this tracks table, you notice that we have a column called media types. Media types ID. Media types ID. So if I want to know which media type has the maximum, I can just say, okay, instead of showing me just the maximum of the entire table, I'd like you to show me the media type ID, the maximum of the media type ID. So do media type ID max. So if I run this query, right, it's still going to give me the same value. That same value, but it's saying that this is media type 3. But is it correct that it's media type 3? No, it's not, because media type 3 will be the first media type on the list. That's why it's showing that. But you can see that it's still showing us the maximum of all the media types. So how can I show the maximum of each of the media types? I want to see the maximum of media type ID 1, the maximum of media type ID 2, the maximum of media type ID3, ID4, and ID5. So that instead of just seeing one output like this, one row, I will see 5 rows. For 1, media the maximum, for 2, maximum, for 3, 4, and 5. So what can I do to modify this query to have that output as described? Akin,
You group by the media type ID.
beautiful, beautiful. So we're going to group by the media type ID. So once we do this, we can now see the expected results. And it's still telling us that media type ID3 is the one that has the highest. So now my interest is, okay, what is this media type with ID3? I want to see the main media types instead of just seeing their IDs. Are we together? So Akin has solved the first problem. We've been able to see the maximum of each of the media types by adding just that group by clause. But we don't want to stop there. We also want to see the names of those media types alongside their IDs. So what we need to do in this case is to, because on the tracks table, we do not have, look at the tracks table again. We do not have the name, we only have the media type ID. If you scroll to the end, this is the end, unit price, and the beginning is this. So nothing like media type name. But on the media types table, it has the ID and the name. So since the ID is already on the tracks table, it means we can combine it. So I can say, this guy, give me the name. You know, on the media type table, it's called name. I can say, give me the name also, comma. So where should we get name from? We are querying this thing from 2 tables. So I'll add the next table. It's called media types. Media types. So comma, media types. Now that I'm using 2 different what's it called now, tables. So I will say tracks T, media types M or MT. Okay, group by media type. We need to add a condition. Okay, before I add the condition, let us try to run this query and see if it will return an error or if it give us an expected output. Let's run this query. And now it has returned an error. It's saying ambiguous name column, name. Why is it showing ambiguous? It's showing ambiguous because on the tracks table, there is a column called name on tracks table. This tracks table. Also, on media types table, there's a column called name. And that is why it's ambiguous, because name appeared on 2 different tables. Remember, we've seen this error before. SQL do not know which column do you want it to show you. Should I show you the column on the media types table, the name column on the media types, or I should show you the name column on the tracks table? Which one do we want to see, guys?
The name on the
Media
media
type.
table. Media type.
Media
table.
types. So how do we do that? Since we have renamed the media type as empty, we just say what? Empty
Empty
dot
dot name.
Empty
names.
dot name.
Good. Now let's run the query again. Okay, it's giving us an error. It's saying ambiguous column name media type ID. Why?
We need to join.
Because if you come to the tracks table,
It's
there's a
in
media
both
type ID
tables.
column. If you come to media types table, there's also a media types ID column. So which one do you want to see?
We
One
want
on
to
the
join.
tracks
The
table.
track.
C dot tracks. Now I don't want to join now. What's the name?
Okay.
Aki. I don't want to join now because I've not started teaching join as a topic, because join is something that is different. So I want to use a different approach for this first. When I run the query now, is this giving us error? Yes. Oh, sorry. I called the media types empty and I'm using T here. Wait, why am I getting error? Hold on. Okay. The group by. I have to do T dot group by. So let's run this again. Aha. Now we no longer have any error. But look at the output. Does it make sense? No error, there's an output, but it's out. Look at it very well before you give me thumbs up, oh guys. Look at the output very well, oh, before you give me a thumbs up, oh. Does it make sense?
All of
So
it, it's one same output.
eh, it doesn't make sense. It's telling me that the MPEG is media type ID 1, the MPEG is media type ID 2, 3, which does not make sense. It's not true. So how can I correct this my query? I don't want to use join. How can I correct this query without using join?
Where
Where beautiful, we'll add the where clause. Where the t dot media type
is
is
equals to
equal to mt
empty
dot
m
dot
media
dot
type.
media.
dot media type.
Aha. When we run this query now, we are meant to have a, what is it saying? Result not near. Oh, sorry, sorry, sorry.
The
Who
where
knows?
should be before go by.
Thank you very much. So I wanted to say who knows. Aki Kai for this one. Just wait. Let me just write this first. So the where clause should come before the group by clause. It should not come after the group by clause. That was the error there. Now let's run this now, and we now have the expected output. Can you see it? Now, which media type has the highest what's it called? Byte. It is what? The MP4.
Protected MP4 video file.
Yes. And for us to see it very clearly, we can just simply say order by what?
Descending.
So order by no, you have to call it calling name. So instead of
Okay.
writing this bytes, I want to use the number. What's be the position? 1, 2, 3. I'll say order by 3 in descending order. Then I can run this query, and now you can see it in descending order. So the MP4 is the highest, followed by the MPEG audio file, followed by the purchased AAC, followed by the protected AAC, followed by the AAC audio file. Now, can you see how we have modified this query to arrive at what we have? Okay. So the original query that came with this notebook used join, but because we have not explained join, we've not gotten to join. I don't want to use join, not to confuse, because for me to use that join, I have to explain a lot of things, and I'm trying to prevent it. So you can see that there are always several ways of getting the results. There are several ways of arriving to an answer, but this method is not the most efficient method. The most efficient method is join, and we'll talk about it when we start talking about join, but I don't want to mention join now. That is the reason why I did it this way, because we've learned about select, from, group by, and order by. We've learned about all of this. So I just wanted to put them together to answer this question of getting this whole output. So with this one now, with this output, you can have an idea of, oh, which audio file has the maximum bytes, which one has the minimum, and so on and so forth. Please, am I communicating? All right, perfect. So if we want to include all these other outputs, all these other ones, we can do it now. I can just copy all of them so that we're not seeing only the maximum of the bytes, but we're seeing every other statistic. I can copy them and paste them here. So when I do that and I run this query again, you're going to see everything. Can you see it now? You can see everything. We have the name of the file, the maximum bytes, the minimum bytes, maximum the average bytes, the maximum milliseconds, minimum milliseconds, and the average or the mean milliseconds. So that was the query we had here earlier. I just wanted to break it down step by step for us to understand. Do we get the idea, everyone? So when working with numeric data, these are the things that you often do, right? These are the things you often do. You'll be writing queries and performing aggregations as seen on the screen. Am I making sense, please? All right, that's perfect. Now, the next thing that I want to look at again is so this is just a description of what happened. Invoices. Let's work with the invoices table. The invoices table has a lot of integers, some integers and some m voucher. Evidently, the total column is the only decimal number in the table, and the data type is what? Numeric 10,2, which I have said earlier. That means that the column supports 10 digits to the left of the decimal point and 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. So we can simply take a total or just show the column with the first 10 outputs. And when I run that query, it shows us this is the invoice of the first 10 outputs. And yeah, so that's that about that. There's not much to be done here. So basically, if you're working with a text, with a numeric data, you are working more with what? Performing aggregations. All those aggregations we have done. So are there questions? Any question about this numeric data? Any question at all? Any question? Give me thumbs up or thumbs down. If you don't have a question, give me thumbs down. If you have any question, give me thumbs up. Okay, Chimere, ask your question.
Okay, sir. Sir, this last procedure, I'm a bit confused.
What do you say?
This query that this last one that you run, I'm a bit confused. I don't know how.
This last one,
Yes,
this one here,
on media type. No, on the media type, the one of media type.
this one.
Yes.
Ah, the last thing I did, I just copied the query we had up now, just this select line and paste it on where on what we have done before. That is all. That was nothing new. That was nothing new I did. I just copied that guy from up because I don't know what to explain right now. Except you have a particular point where you are confused, I can explain. But if you see, yeah, if you leave it open ended, a bit confused, what you're telling me is I should start explaining again from the beginning, and that will be a lot. Except you have a particular point you wanted to explain. But the last thing I did was just to copy this line we have written from the downloaded material, I copied it and I pasted it here. That was all I did. Go ahead, please.
So can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, sorry. Concerning what Chimere said, I've been understanding, but it was when you did this weird query. I was so lost. I didn't really get what you're doing.
The year. So
Yes.
this year part that I joined, we've done it before in one of the classes we had last week, I think. Look at what's happened there. When without adding the year, right? Let me take it out again. So you know this was what we did before. And then we got an output. But this was the output was showing us the same type of audio file throughout all the 5 places. Can you see it? The same type. But this is not the accurate result. Are you following? Quincy, turn your mic. Turn your mic.
Yes, I hear what you're saying.
This is not the just leave your mic unmuted except your background is noisy, which is not. This is not the expected output. We're supposed to see the different audio files. So, but what is happening here is that SQL is doing what is known as cross join. Cross join. If not that we have group by, but let me remove this group by. Let's see. Let me add this code here and run it. Oh, because of these aggregations, you might get okay. It's just give us only one. I don't want us to have only one. So if not for this group by, this group by would have seen the 5 audios being mapped to all the whole figures. But because we're aggregating, that's how I see what we're seeing. So what we want to see is Tell me the maximum minimum average for the first audio file, the second audio file, the third audio file, the fourth and the fifth, not just repeating one all through. So the way to achieve that is to add the where clause. And what would the where clause do for us? See the selected track, right? Let me quickly do something. I hope this will not confuse you guys further. In your just watch and see. Just watch what I want to do. Limits. Limits to uh limits. So watch this query. Uh limits. Okay. This limit did not want to work. And I wanted it to work. Uh let me see if this will help my use to help me to do what I want to achieve, what I want to achieve. Still not to achieve it. Okay, so let me just go ahead and run it separately. Let me just run the query individually. There was something I was trying to show you guys. I was thinking it will work, but the union did not work. So if you look at the tracks table, there's an ID, right? See? What is this one showing? This is not my tracks. Let me run it again. Ahead. So there is an ID called media type on the tracks table. When you look at the media types table, there is another ID called media type on the media type table. Is that correct? We now want to say that okay, this output they are giving us, they are showing us only one audio file. Don't show us only one audio file rather. Give us your output should be based on where the media type ID on the tracks table, right? This media type ID on the tracks table. How do you write it? Where T dot media types. This thing I wrote like this. I'm saying where the media type ID on the tracks table, which is this one, is equal to the media type ID on the media types table is equal to this one, is equal to the media type ID on the media type table. Please, do you understand? That is what this
Yes,
here
sir.
does. So when I run the query now, it gives me the expected output. Why? So the expected output because it will go to the media type ID on the media table and match the ID. So whenever it sees one is one only. It's not going to match it to two. Two is two only. It's not match it to three. And that is the reason why it's able to give you the 5 different media types. Immediately you added this condition. Here, so give me my query based on this condition. That is what just happened there. I hope I've been able to explain that part, that point.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And Chimere, I hope you understand now. If that was what confused you earlier. Okay. Well, we practice. You will get it. But if you just learn this small and you run away, you dump it, idea, you will not get anything. You go won't forget the small you don't learn. It's not like you. This is not beans. What I'm doing is not a day's job. It's not that I just learned it once and I left it. I learned it and I used it and I used it and I continue to use it, even if there is no direct task assigned to me to say work on this project. I try to find a problem for myself and solve the problem. That is what makes you a data analyst. For you to be a data analyst, beyond learning the tools, it is the ability to go out there, look for a problem, and solve. Am I communicating, guys? Please learn that too. Don't go and say I know how to write SQL. SQL queries, and then you're now boasting because you've learned select from where. There are more to it too. Okay, next question or next tab that we're going to consider working with text data. I'm always excited to teach this part because it's very interesting and there will be a lot of tasks going forward from here. So when I run this query, it gives me, of course, I've seen this customer's pragma before. Let me talk about the text data. For text data, the use case is when you want to search. Have you ever wondered when somebody is working with a data set and they said, hey, write a query to return everybody from our data that are using a Gmail account, not a Yahoo Mail, not Hotpile or not Hotmail, not any other domain, but Gmail. Have you ever wondered how that query will be written or how the query will appear? So imagine I have different people's email addresses and I'm only interested in those people with a Gmail account. Of course, I need to write a query to return that output. So how is that achieved? That kind of a thing or query can be written with an operator called like. Like operator is the fantastic operator that you need to know to write such query. Like, so how do you use the like operator? Right? I'm going to show you a typical example before we continue. In my university, we're talking about thank God success on the call. She's going to confirm this. Success, please confirm this for me. I was told by the HOD of the School of Nursing Department, the nursing department, that all the core courses in nursing, their pass mark is 50. Success, is that correct? That the pass mark for any core course in nursing is 50. Is that correct, Success?
You said?
The HOD for nursing department said that all the core courses, nursing core courses, their pass mark is 50 in their exam.
Why am I
Or
why am I not hearing you or what?
um, is anybody having the same issue that Success is having? Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yes, I will
I,
carry you.
I can hear you clearly.
You said the nursing department.
I want you to confirm this information. Is it true that the pass mark for nursing courses is usually 50?
Yes, yes,
Good. That was what I was told, right?
yes.
But the tech guys, the guys who built the back end for our SIS, do not have that information. Thank you, Success. They didn't have that information. They now placed everybody for all the whole faculty or departments to have a pass mark of 40. Other departments, their pass mark is 40. Once you score 40 in your aggregated score, mid semester, your continuous assessment and your exam, once you pass 40, you have passed that course. You don't need to carry it over. But they didn't have this information before time. They now made it 40 for all. So and then when the nursing program coordinator saw it, said, no, this is not correct. That anyone in nursing or that takes a nursing core course, if the person didn't score up to 50, although the grade will remain 40, the grade will remain D or E or F. Even if you get a D, you have failed that course. So you are supposed to rewrite the course. If you score 49, for instance, you are supposed to rewrite that course. Now, as the data scientist on the team, I was involved to say, okay, how can you help us get the list of all those students that did not pass their mark, that didn't get up to 50? and I wrote a very simple query to help get the results. Let me show you briefly before continuing, before I explain what I want to explain. Now, this is query. Can you see my screen, guys? Can you see my screen? Good. So I said in my query, I said, first of all, when did I write that query itself today? I think it was today I wrote the query now. This is it here. So I said, select all from either production views. This is the name of the table. Select all from this table. Pair course code like NSC. Course code like NSC simply means that the course code for all those core nursing courses, their NSC can be NSC 201, NSC 202, NSC 30 something, but it must have NSC. So wherever you see, so I'm giving SQL instruction, wherever you see the course code NSC and the course total score is less than 50, give me the output of those queries. So this is where the keyword like come to play. And because I am working with the text data, NSC here is a text data that forms a code. This is a practical example of what we wanted, what we're about learning about working with text. So the like operator allows us to search for text-based, text-like objects. But to use the like operator, you need two wild cards. They are called wild cards. What are the wild cards? The wild cards are the percentage or the underscore. These are the two wild cards that work alongside with the like operator, just like the example I showed us previously. The wildcard I use for this example is the percentage symbol. If you pay attention to it, you see it very well. Can you all see it? It is a percentage symbol I use as the wildcard. Are we together, guys? Can you all see it clearly? It is the percentage symbol I used as a wildcard here. And I'll tell us the difference between using the percentage symbol as a wildcard and the underscore as a wildcard. Am I communicating? Am I communicating? Pay attention, no. Because after this explanation, I'll not show you any example. I'll just start asking questions and then we'll continue with our marking. Yesterday, Jason Dunsin was topping the list. He's on 15 points for now. So I want to continue until the end of this week's course classes. I will then decide who is the winner, who will take my gift. But now, Jason, this is still leading. So pay attention. Like I said, I will give an example. I'll just explain, and I expect you to get my answers correct when I start asking questions. Now, for the percentage, how do you use the like and the percentage? If you are searching for a text data that has some number of characters before or after, for instance, let's say I have the word, let's say I have, what example can I use now? Okay, let's say I have www.isichennamdi.com. By the way, this is my website. In case you don't know that I have a website, I have a personal website, and this is the URL to my personal website. Yeah, www.isichennamdi.com. And I have on that website www.datafiedtech.com. And there are other websites, so many websites, but I'm looking for that website that has tech in it. Tech. Guys, am I communicating? Good. I'm looking for the website that has the word tech in it. I don't want ECGN and they are only tech. And imagine that there are a lot of them. But any website that has tech in it, please return only those websites for me. On the where clause, I've written my query, select all from this where I would say website, maybe there's a column called website. Where websites like, so I'm not going to say where website equal to, I will say where websites like, then percentage in a quote, single quote or double quote, in a double quote, percentage tech, percentage, and close your quote. So what does this mean? The percentage means that check for the website irrespective of how many characters are before tech or how many characters are after tech. Anytime you see the word tech in between, just bring it out for me. Pam. That is what the percentage is doing. So if I put only 1% at the beginning and I don't put anyone at the end, what does this tells me? This tells me that even if I see this one, don't add it. Don't add it to the list. Only look for the website that ends with tech. For instance, you can have a website www.datafied.tech. We had this was our former website www.datafied.tech. So in this case, it will not pick this one as the output. It will only pick this one. Why? Because this by this instruction, you are telling it to search for any website that has any number of character before tech, but don't consider, so tech has to be the last word. Guys, does that make sense? In this instruction, by putting only 1% at the beginning, they are saying that search for any website that has tech as the last word. So it will give you this output, but not pick this output. So what if you do like this and tech and percentage? Can anybody tell me what this means? If you put tech before percentage, can you tell me what it means?
It will only pick out
So pick the first one.
anyone that starts with tech.
Beautiful. Not necessarily the first one, but anyone that starts with tech.
Yeah.
To bring all the websites that start with tech, and irrespective of how many characters follow afterwards. That is what the percentage does. So what if I don't put percentage in it at all? What do you think it will return? Website like tech, what will it return?
It must be exactly tech.
Beautiful. It must be exactly tech. If www is in it, it's not bring that one. If .com is in it, it's not bring it. But it must be exactly tech. Am I communicating? Yes, website like tech. It will give you exactly tech. That is how to use the percentage and the like operator. Now, let me talk about the second white card, which is underscore. For underscore, if I say, give me websites like underscore, just one underscore. Do you know what instruction I'm giving SQL? I say SQL, check the website copy and give me the website that has just one character. Maybe you have a website that just have only W. Then to give you an output because this one has just one character, just one. That underscore represents a character. If I say give me website that is on like underscore, two underscores, it give you if you check all the website call and return only the website with only two characters. I'm using website as an example here. I'm not saying you will find such websites. It doesn't exist. At least website must have www at least. Do you understand? So to look for what has only two characters. If you say give me with three underscore, three characters, then that's what you get. But what if I want to return any website that ends with .com. I want to return any website that ends with .com. How can I write it using SQL? I will say percentage dot underscore underscore underscore. Do you understand the pattern? Percentage means irrespective of the character. Check for dots, and after dots, look how many characters follows dots. If it is exactly 3, return it for me. That means in this case, www.ecj.com will be part of the output. Datafile.tech.com will be part of the output. .tech will not be part, because .tech has how many characters? 4 characters after the dot. Am I communicating, guys? Beautiful. So the underscore specifies specific number of characters that you want to study after a pattern. Specific number of characters. That is what the underscore does. And of course, this particular query can be written another way. I can also say, give me anything Tom, you know. But the problem with this one is that if I have in this example I gave, it will work, sure. But if I have a website like this, www.school schoolmanage dot dot co dot edu dot com, example. Yes, this is an example. If I have this type of website as an example, right? Okay, the two examples we fetch them out. Both the first example I gave. I mean, both the first coding, like the one I use, I say this one, percentage dot underscore underscore underscore. This one also we fetch both this one, and this one. Can anybody tell me, how do you think I can write this query to return only these two websites, but not this one? How can I possibly write the query to return just these two, but not this, using either percentage or underscore? Who knows?
Um, we put that percentage at the back of the last one.
At the back of the what?
This last one, percentage dot score dot dash dash dash.
I should
So
put
it will now
percentage
be
here too.
yes, and remove that of the front one.
I should put this one.
Yes, maybe it will work.
If we write this one, no result will be returned. Can
Okay,
anyone tell
sir.
me why no result will be returned?
Because it's there's no website that doesn't have anything before .com or dot anything
Yes,
behind.
and there's no website that started with dot, because this command is saying look for website that starts with dot, then followed by 3 characters. All of them started with www, except if I have something like this dot, and no website starts with dot. So does any other person wants to try? Anyone? Any idea, please? Okay. So I'm also thinking about the solution. It is easier for me to write a query that will return this one, but not the other one, but not this one. Okay, okay, okay. This is how we can do it, guys. We can say www dot any number of character percentage dot com. Yes, this will work. Will this work? Because this any number of characters or character will
The
also
other one
capture.
will also come out, yes.
Yes, it's also capture this one as any number of character.
Mhm.
And not okay. So we'll negate it. We'll negate it, not like. So if you do like, because there's no way you will do the like that last will not come out. So we'll negate it and say not like, um, not like what? Any number of characters dot edu dot com. But if we do this, it will return this one. It will return our it will return that tech. But we want to only get the .com. It will return the tech. We say not like this. Give us every other output and not .com. I have gone to create a problem that is difficult for me to solve myself. Okay. So how do we write this? Okay, we'll come back to this query. I'll be thinking about how we will solve this problem that I have.
We'll create a table for it.
We'll come back to how we'll solve the problem I've created for myself now that I'm finding it difficult to solve. Let me ask other questions concerning our database. So, but based on what I've explained, I hope you guys understand when to use this underscore, ampersand, and let me just ask the questions for better understanding. So let's look at our table. Let's look at our what? Our customers table. Select all from customers. Let's run this query. Select all from customers. Okay, the reason why I'm getting this error is because of all of these guys that I did not make comments. Let me make them comments. Let's try it again. Select all from customers. Now this is all from customers. So I need us to write a query that will return all the emails that ends with .com. Let's start with that. Look at different emails. This one ends with .com.br, .de, .com, .no, .com, .com, .at, .de, .dx. So write a query that will return only those emails that ends with .com. Okay, I can see Obegeli, before you send, complete your query. Remember the rule. The rule is the first to give me the correct query is the person that will get the gift. I mean the points rather.
So please, can you
Also,
repeat the question?
write a query that will return all the emails that ends with .com. What's this? What's this? I have not set my timer. Okay, Akin has sent in his answer. I will count from 5 to 0. Okay, the list answer had come in. Okay, time up. Let me copy Akin's answer. And Obegali's answer. So for Akin's answer, let's run the query. Let's see the output. .com. Bravo, bravo, bravo. This is correct. Well done to you, Akin. Let me run Obegili's query, even though Akin had gotten the answer already. Away, error. Where does the error come from? Here select. Why? I ended the previous query. Select all from customers where email live. Oh, why is it not running? Why is it giving me error? Okay, let me see. .com. And the Gillis query is also correct, but Akin got the 5 points because he turned in his answer correctly. Well done to the both of you. Let me add 5 to Akin. So Akin got 2 yesterday, 2 plus 5. All right. My next question. Are we ready for the next question, guys? Just to do see what happened to you today. Don't you sleep?
No.
Okay. My next question. Are we ready for the next question? I saw the email column. Write a query that will return only the emails that ends with 2 characters: BR, DE, NO, AT, BE, DK. You can see the 2 characters, they are different. They are different. It's not like .com that is the same all through. So the 2 characters have different characters. So write a query that will return only those emails that end with 2 characters. Your time starts now. 3 minutes. Where's my timer? Where's my timer? My timer. My timer. My time. Time. Time is ticking. Immediately you hear the time just stop. Okay. 2 people's responses. Akin and Jason Vincent and Chemere. Hey, Chemere don't pick up. Finally, Chemere sent in an answer today. Let me copy Akin's answer. Please, you can still go on if you have not submitted your answer because the time is still counting down. Stop immediately here the alarm. This for Akin. Next one is for Jason Vincent. Next one is for Chemere. The next one is for Beasley. Next one is for Obegeli. Okay, let's run the queries and see what is right. So for the first one, Akin, let me run this query first. Akin, This thing gave us no output, 0 rows. Let me run this reduces query. This one, okay, wait, why is it giving me error? What is wrong with this? I ended the other query. Okay, let me end it. We didn't end it. So this one gave us an output. Let's confirm if it is correct. ERDENOATDEBE. Well done. Well done, JCDC. JCDC's query all showed correctly. Well done, that is correct. Obviously, this is wrong because this is not underscore. This is dash dash. Mary and who and Queensley. This is dash dash. It's not dash, it's underscore. Underscore. So it will obviously return error. Then for Obiageli query looks correct also. Let me just run it. And that's Obiageli's query. So Obiageli and Jesu Dunsin got it correctly, but Jesu Dunsin's query came in first. Congratulations to you, Jesu Dunsin. If you need me to explain this query again, I'm adding 5 points to this point. If you need me to explain this query again, let me know. I want to believe that you all time up. So I want to believe that you all understand the query. You can see how it's written, right? Let's go back to this query. Select all from customers. Here, email like you have to say any number of character dots underscore underscore. Any number of character dots underscore underscore. Guys, do you understand? Do we get it? Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. So let's see. Now, what if I want to write a query? I want to write a query. That will return all the emails that have all the email that have like Apple. You can see this email, Isabella_Messia at apple.fr. This one is at apple.fi. This is at apple.hu. So any email that has the word Apple, I want it to be returned. The time starts now, 3 minutes. All the email that has the extension at apple.something. I want to return those emails. The time starts now, the time is ticking. The time is ticking. Okay, got somebody's entry already. Okay, waiting on that response already. More responses coming in. Let me see the first that sent in their response. Okay, the first to have sent in their response is Jesu Dunsin. Let me copy his query and paste it here. Then followed by Obiageli. Let me copy her query and paste it here. Then followed by Aki. Let me copy his query and paste it here. These two people, I've not seen your responses. So let me run. Let me run. This is school. What is going on here? Here D. Here DCD. Ah, what is going on here? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Up.
The second exclamation sign, the quotation mark.
Oh, yeah. That was the error. Okay. Apple. Apple. Okay. Let me look at Abegeli's query. Okay. Same around. I'll give it to Abegeli because I had to correct one error for you, but I didn't correct anything for Abegeli. So Abegeli, congratulations to you. You got 5 points because your query ran correctly without adding, without correcting anything for you. So 5 points goes to Abegeli. Where's her name? 5. And the last question for today before we continue tomorrow. So if I were you, I will go and look at this text very well. This or the remaining modules very well to ensure that I master them because tomorrow's class will be a lot of questions. The last question for today. I'm interested in writing. I want to see the query of all the customers whose, let me write it down. Write a query to return all the customers whose first name starts with D or last name ends with S. Do you understand my question? Write a query to return all the customers whose first name starts with D or last name ends with S. Your time starts now.
Please, can I see the first name, the query with first name? Our first name is okay.
Okay, so the first to send their query is Akin. Yes, there's still time. For those who say have 1 minute, 11 seconds. Let's wait for others to turn in the query. All right, time out, guys. Thank you very much for attempting. Thank you very much for attempting. Time is up. So, Akin, you sent in 2 answers. Is your first answer I'll work with you?
Yes, sir. I forgot to add S to that customers.
Okay, just that one. That one is not a problem. That one is not. It's not a major error to commit. So, Akin's query is this. Let me look at the next, who is J. Sudunson's query is the next, and Queensley's query is the third. So let's run Akin's query and see if he's correct with his query. So routes, select all from customers where first name like E or last name like, okay, let's try this. Let's see. Okay, this first name didn't start with D, it started with L. However, the last name ends with S, which means it's correct. This query, this output is supposed to be part of the query. This one starts with D and ends with S. That's absolutely correct. This ends with S, even though it didn't start with D, which is correct. This one ends with S. This one ends with S. This ends with S, ends with S. This starts with D, ends with S, ends with S, ends with S. Okay, so Akin's queries looked correct. Congratulations to you, Akin. You got a 7.5 points. Jason, this query will not be correct because this last name should be last name because it's a minor error.
So it's I don't know, it's typo. This thing, the other one that I put the close quotation. Now this one, I don't know why
No, I understand.
it's
That's not a
not.
problem. No, it's not a problem at all. That's the minor error. Let me look at Queensley's query. Where name, Queensley, is it name or first name? Oh, no, no, no. So give me error. So it should be first name. Use the exact title of the column. First name or last name. Last name should be together. Exact the way the column is spelled on your database. So, Queensley, your query said we will return wrong answer. Look at, you put the percentage D. So what you mean here is that the names end. If I let me run your query so that you see what result to give us. See, look at Queensley's result. She says we have first name like D. It means ends with D, or last name ends with S. So you're only looking at those ones that ends. Either it ends with D or ends with S. You can see this one. This one says it's not even part of the. It's not shouldn't be part of the response, the output, but it came. This one, you see. This one didn't. Okay, sorry. It ends with D rather. This one ends with D. This one ends with S. Ends with S. ends with S. So this query is not correct. But well, Aki already got the first correct query. And see how to show that it ends with D. It means D. I mean, it starts with D. D percentage. It means that the first letter is D, and it has another number of characters. Then it ends with S, which means it will have some number of characters, and the last letter should be S. So 5 points goes to Akin plus 5. All right, guys, at this point, we're going to stop the class for tonight. Thank you very much. I hope you've learned a lot, and you're getting much more comfortable working with SQL and writing SQL queries. Yes, Quincy, go ahead.
Sir, thank you very much for this correction because I was kind of finding difficult to understand before. And lastly, for the what was it called? Is it I don't know, that's line. Please can you clarify it more because I wanted to do it for this one. So I was kind of contemplating, I wasn't sure. I don't know if you
Which
can
line?
just help me. That's is it
The
I don't know
underscore.
the name. Yeah,
Underscore.
underscore, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me like just help me understand it very well? Like what in which query are we supposed to use the underscore?
The underscore is when you are looking for a single character, double characters, and let me give you an example. Let's say I want to write a query that will return like this, like the previous query we wrote. Any email that's any email that has five characters before the email. For instance, LUISG. This is 5 characters, like right? 5 characters. So any email that starts with exactly 5 characters before at, I would say I'll write it this way. Select all from customers where email like in a double quote 5 characters 1 2 3 4 5. That is 5 underscore. Then I would now put at and percentage, at and percentage sign, I close my. So why I put at is because immediately after the 5 characters, what you follow is at whatever it is. At this percentage means at can be at anything at all. So one of my outputs I expect to see is this one. This Lewis G at embraer.com. That's one of the output I expect to see, and any other one that has 5 characters. Do you understand? Let's run this query. If I run this query, you can see we have 3 of those kind of emails. See this one, Lewis G, H Holy, and Alero. If you look at them, they all have 5 characters. So whenever you are trying to look for a pattern that is 5 exactly some specific number of characters, use underscore. But if you are not interested in the number of characters, use percentage. So percentage is whether it is 0, 1, or more. But underscore is specific number of characters that you're looking for. Do you understand, Quincy?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Guys, this has been an interesting class, and I hope that you guys have learned a lot. Yeah. And remember, practice is